Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans and people from the atmosphere. Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I hope you're subscribed and you like this video because the atmosphere, the universe gave me another awesome guest. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to the space age lady, Zelina Powers. Welcome.
Hi.
Awesome. So, who trained you?
Who trained me? It's kind of a journey. I mean, I started wrestling in an underground promotion in Vienna called WUW, World Underground Wrestling, and we wrestled on mats in a nightclub, in the basement of a nightclub, basically. So that was the promotion, and it was fun and it was cool, but it was not quite like wrestling in a ring. After that, I did a few weeks at WXW in Germany, and then I found the London School of Lucha Libre, which was based in London. It doesn't exist anymore, but the trainer Greg Burridge, he has a new dojo now, and I go there from time to time. And I would say he taught me a lot. And there I found, I would say, my style or the way of wrestling I like, and that fits me and my body and my attitude and everything, which is kind of lucha libre and British wrestling, I would say. Yeah.
So if my American fans are not familiar with you, introduce yourself.
So I'm Zelina Power. I'm a strong, fast alien. I'm super hyperactive in the ring, super aggressive with high energy. Very often I hate human mankind because they don't treat us aliens very well, you know. I fight for all my fellow aliens who also might not be treated as well as they should. But sometimes I like people. And
you like people in spurts. You're like, humans, maybe.
yeah. Depends. I mean, there's really nice humans. And I wouldn't want to destroy them, but very often they can be very mean, and so it's good that I can wrestle them in a ring.
Yeah. So, when you were young alien, who is some of the wrestlers or people like that really, or moments in wrestling that really got you to want to do this and want to be like part of this wrestling world?
I have to admit something. When I was young, I didn't know wrestling. I was not a wrestling fan. There was TV around and there was a bit of wrestling around, but when you grow up as a young alien and you see these like huge bulky guys on TV, I mean, I did never have the feeling that they have to do anything with me. There were no role models. The only, let's say, female role models that were there back then were like, you know, like Barbie dolls. They were like showing their tits and their asses. It was back then. There was there was not a lot of female wrestling out there. So I was never interested in it. I was more interested in like martial arts and kung fu stuff and stuff like that. So I've always been a fighter. I did judo, I did taekwondo, I did boxing, Thai boxing, all that kind of stuff. And at one point in my life, I was looking for a stunt school. I wanted to do stunts, and that's how I found wrestling. So my way of becoming a wrestler was, I guess, a bit different than of most wrestlers. And when I started wrestling, I had no idea about it. So I watched a lot of wrestling, but I was like years and years behind of like other wrestlers who were fans when they started it. So that was really interesting for me to find out how it works. And that's, yeah, it was, I fell in love with it kind of. Yeah.
So, Zelina, like you said, you'd like did the jujitsu and stuff like that. Like, did you ever have thoughts of joining MMA and being like Ronda and stuff like that?
I sometimes did MMA. I mean, I guess there's almost no martial arts I haven't tried and haven't done. Um, so sometimes I go to sparrings and stuff like that. I still do martial arts and I still do spar, and from time to time I go to Thailand to train Thai boxing there. So it's still a big part of my life. But the cool thing about wrestling is that like a lot of people see it, and like you can be out there and you can show the world what you can do, and you have this like real cool costumes and characters, and it's a different world.
Yeah. So who made your gear? Your ring gear?
I do some of the stuff myself. So I buy the basics from shops or online or whatever, and then I add stuff. But I don't have a gear maker because I can sew myself and I can do stuff myself. And I guess my ring gear is also a little bit different than to most of the people wear. And I'm still thinking maybe I should get one from somebody else, but it's so hard to choose. And yeah, and I really enjoy doing creative stuff myself.
That's the most important part because a lot of wrestlers they expect everybody to make their like pictures that they draw, and they're so difficult. So you're if you think about it, you're a very creative person because you could stitch and repair your gear without sending it off to like possibly sending it to like Japan or like sending it to the States and possibly losing it. You'll be like, you could be like the one woman play. You'll be like this. Here's your gear. Oh, thanks. I'll sell that for you tomorrow, but I need it today. You said tomorrow. Like, mess
Yeah,
around with
I don't
yourself,
have
and
that problem.
you won't have that problem because there's no middleman. There's you. Like,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
so is there any like wrestlers or like promotions that you've been dying to work with? Like, is there any like that you can think offhand?
I mean, I always wanted to work for Eve, which is a British all-female promotion.
Oh, I know
Like,
them.
yeah, they're really really cool because they also have this like political aspect. It's based on a riot girl movement. So
Mm,
the founders, it's explicitly, how can I say that? It's feminist.
mm.
So I really really like it, and I mean, I saw some shows and I trained there as well, like years ago before COVID. The school doesn't exist anymore as well, but
Oh, wow.
yeah, so I know them. So that would be cool. Um, who else? What else? I mean, do you know of Lucha Britannia?
No, never heard of that one.
Lucha Britannia, it's a wrestling promotion also in London, and they started to do shows again, and it's not exactly like Lucha Underground, but they have this like fantastic characters like the Monkey King, and I think like there's one character, I think dad was Satan and mom was an angel and she's something in between. So they take a lot of characters from like mythologies all around the world and they mix it together like in a really really cool wrestling show with burlesque artists and all the bling bling you can imagine. It's really fantastic shows. This would be one of the shows I would love to be on, to be honest. um and I would like to wrestle in Mexico.
Ooh.
Yeah. My
Would you become a
plan
lucha
is,
when you go there? If you ever went to
sorry?
Mexico, would you toss it? Would you ever think about making a lucha match that matches your outfit, like a
I'm
purple?
just I'm just doing one. There is one on my table. I'm just
Ooh.
experimenting with the pattern because the patterns I found they don't really fit me. So I'm making my own pattern, and yeah, probably in 2 or 3 weeks, depends on how much time I have in between. My brand new lucha mask will
You
be.
should, when you're done with it, send me a picture of it. I would love to see it because my
I
grandfather was
will. I will for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my
I will.
grandfather was a luchador, so I love seeing
Your
lucha masks.
granddad was a luchador. Oh my god, that's
That's
fantastic.
why I'm Joe Panther the Third, because my grandfather, he wrestled under Vince's dad, and he was a lucha. He was a heel luchador.
Are you a luchador as well then?
Well, this is kind of like my luchador mask. Like this is my only mask. It's my glasses.
Ah, the
So it's
mustache isn't real, so
yeah. Yeah, hey, whoop, pull off the mask, and it's me. It's
underneath
me
you have
going.
full blonde hair and blue eyes, and you are, I don't know.
If they can make a lucha mask, if there's anybody out there that makes masks, just make the mask connected to the mustache, and make it like a hat and a pair of like I guess it almost like I would be kind of awkward. Make it like a mask that looks like just a mustache and a pair of glasses and a hat. I'll wear it. Like, but don't make it look like my face. That'll be awkward as hell. Look like someone cut my face off. Awkward.
Well, that's
Um,
kind of creepy, yeah.
yeah, I'm just like, yeah, just make it. If you know WCW, the old luchadors, there was a wrestler that actually had. It looked like he had like glasses on, like looked like the Macho Man kind of glasses. They were like the black like the silver aviators. I can't think of his name, but he looked like he was a homie because he had like the like silver aviator glasses, and it was like he was wearing a hat. I can't think of his name, but he was in
I'm
WCW.
just googling WCW luchador. Maybe we find him.
I can't think of his name, but he was in WCW.
Yeah.
Right? He's
I got
wearing like silver aviators on his mask. I can't think of his name. He was such a he was a trendsetter for his time. I loved his masks. His mask was so cool. I can't think of his name. And
I can't find him as well, but
I have to
I
find
will. If I have more time, I will find him.
yeah, I'll if I go on Peacock, I'll go look and see if I can find him in a match, and I'll take a picture of my screen and I'll send it to you on Instagram.
Yeah,
But
send
like
me, send me. Yeah,
it's
I'm
so
curious.
cool. I'm like, if someone can make a mask like that for me with just red glasses on it and like a
Yeah.
mustache on the mask, like a thin like black line or as a
Yeah. We will
mustache,
get
that'd be
back to
hilarious.
that. When I know how to make masks perfectly, I will make one for you.
Oh my god, I'll be
And you
laughing
can
so hard.
surprise people. It's me, but no, it's not me. No, it's me.
Nope. I had to do like a TikTok with like some reason how I get make it look like I don't have no mustache. So when I pull the mask off, it's just me going like this. Huh? And then I'll run away. It's me under the
Awesome.
mask. It's like Rey Mysterio would take off the mask. It's Joe without a mustache, just going, I don't know what I did. Why am I here? Regular me. So,
Okay.
like, my last question in the regular form is, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years in the wrestling business?
That's a good question. I see myself honestly in theater wrestling. It already started a bit that like more and more theaters are getting interested in wrestling, and there's more and more shows produced for theaters or theater festivals.
In
And
Italy.
also in Germany, I did some already. So we have this huge show going on. It's called Kampf um die Stadt, which means fight for the city. And we did a proper wrestling show with like real wrestling for theater festivals, and the theme was housing problems in big cities. So it was a really like intellectual and really abstract political theme being put on stage as a wrestling show. So we had script writers, like we had a director, we had proper filming, we had proper lighting, we had a proper theater with like, I don't know, like 500, 600 people in it. And now we're touring this year. We're touring in Austria, in Germany, in Switzerland. And so this is something I really enjoy. I would like to wrestle more in England, honestly. Uh, I have this thing going on which is called drag wrestling. So we mix drag queens and drag kings with wrestling. And so I'm working on a project in Austria with drag wrestling. And actually, I just came back from England and was part of a show called Fist Club, which also mixes wrestling and drag. And yeah, I wrestled there, and it was part of a festival called Restival. So it was a 3-day festival with wrestling shows going on. So I would like to be more part of that. So these are the kind of things that really interest me as a wrestler, like mixing different kinds of arts with wrestling. This kind of mainstream and normal wrestling, I mean, it's cool to do because it gives me experience, and it gives me experience to wrestle a lot of different people. But to be honest, for female wrestlers in Europe, there are not that many spots. It's not that big. So there's more chances in England for that, for sure. Yeah, let's see what happens. I mean, I'm gonna go to Mexico this year, so I don't know if that opens up new doors. I wouldn't say no to the US, to be honest. It's also very interesting. It's really cool. And I mean, there's so much more wrestling there. For example, if you compare it to Austria, in Austria, you have maybe 1 or 2 wrestling schools. And if you don't like these wrestling schools, you don't wrestle. It's not like let's say a boxing club. If you don't like this boxing club, you just go to the other boxing club. There's only one place where you can go. Whereas in the US, if you don't fit into one wrestling school, you just go to the other, and it's yeah, there's so many more chances. And that's the reason, I think, why there's so many talents and so many good wrestlers from the US and also the UK, because it's just so much more popular. The same in Mexico, same in Japan. So all the countries where it's wrestling really big, there's just so many good wrestlers, and I really admire them. I wish I could be that good one day. Maybe that's also a dream I have for the future, to get really, really, really good, to improve myself a lot. Yeah.
So if my fans want to follow you on social media, how can they find you?
Zelina Power. I'm on Insta. I still have a Facebook account, but I don't feed it that much anymore. So it's basically Insta. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any merch if the fans want to pick anything up of yours?
Honestly, at the moment, no. I sold almost all my old merch. I mean, I still have. If you look at this shirt, that's my old
cool.
merch, but I still have the long hair because I recently changed my look. So I still have some fan cards. I can send them also. I mean, just write me a message and I can like send you something. Just propose something. I mean, as you know, I produce my stuff myself. So if somebody proposes me, oh, please, can you make me this? Can you make me that? I can. And yeah, I'm thinking about making merch again, but it's not my number one priority.
Yeah. It's a thing because like a lot of wrestlers don't really they'll make the merch, but it really costs them in the end to make the merch. You know what I mean? I'm with the podcast, I'm the only one that makes the merch, and it comes to like making business cards and stickers, it comes right out of my wallet. And I work a day job, and $100 a week. Sometimes I don't work the full shift, and it doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah, that's also a thing. I mean, I once did fan fingers. That was really funny actually, and they sold very well. I did them myself because I still had some foam left over, and I was like, what do I do with that foam? Okay, let's make fan fingers. So I cut out a pattern and I painted them, and I made like Zelina Power fan fingers. I think I did one like this and a fist, and maybe I will make some more of these. I don't know. For me, it's a thing, I have to enjoy it. It's not about like asking somebody making me a design and like let it like sending it to a company and they make 100 prints or something. I mean, I want to put my heart into the stuff I do, and yeah, I hope that's being appreciated then.
Yeah, and I know fans really like stuff that when wrestlers send them or send prints or send the trading cards. I've gotten like one from a female wrestler from the States, Notorious Mimi. I gave her something and I bought something from her, and she gave me a card, and I didn't even pay for it. She just gave it to me because I bought a T-shirt from her, and it was so cool, so nice to meet her. But one more thing before we go, if there's any young wrestling fans that want to get in the business like you, what kind of advice would you give them?
What kind of advice would I give them? Find your place in wrestling business, and don't get frustrated if people are telling you shit, because a lot of people tell you a lot of shit out there, and it might be the right thing for them but not the right thing for you, and the world is big and there's always a place for you. Don't get distracted. Don't try to be somebody else. Find your own character and be proud of it, I would say. Yeah.
Awesome. Zelina, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast finally. It's so awesome to see you and so glad you're doing so well now. And I love your character, your new character. It's awesome that I somehow got the spaceship, the dudes at Ringside antenna to zap up a StreamYard room up to the into the atmosphere, because you're like the second space age. You know who the first space age female wrestler before I go that came on the podcast?
Who?
Billy Starks. Famous Billy Starks.
I don't know this alien. Oh my god, there's more of us on this planet.
Yes, Billy Starks from the Space Jesus. Billy Starks. She's in AEW right now.
Oops. Sorry.
All right. Zelina, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm Joe Panther III.
I'm Zelina Power.
And we will catch you